Hi, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode of Service Hour. This is a program where we talk about service providers, the quality of service they provide, and the impact it has on Nigerians. My name is Mati Fati, and I have with me
Jam.
Welcome on the show, Jem.
Thank you so much.
How are you feeling today?
I'm good.
You're ready to give us. She has cooked a lot.
Yeah.
The food is done, and there's a lot to learn from this video. For this episode, we will be talking about Nafdac, everything that they do, and how it benefits Nigerians. So, Jem, tell us, what is Nafdac? What exactly do they do, and how is it beneficial to Nigerians?
So Nafdac, that is National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control.
Yeah.
Basically, it's they are in charge of exportation, importation, the sale of food, drugs, cosmetics, bottled waters, chemicals. Anything that has to do with,
Consumables.
yes, in Nigeria, right? So they monitor to assess that Nigerians are getting it at a very qualitative level. So your response, they were created with the sole mandate to monitor the Nigerian public consuming of healthy products,
Yeah.
drugs and cosmetics and other things.
Mm.
So basically, that's what they do.
Thank you, Jem. So the next question I'm going to ask is, despite the presence of Nafdac in today's Nigeria,
Yeah.
why do you think that substandard products still flood our markets?
Okay, so I have to say that Nafdac have had some wins. Like we've seen where some reputable pharmacy stores were sanctioned or suspended for having the presence or sale of fake drugs. So they've had some win. They've actually tried. They've done their best in ensuring that fake drugs or substandard foods and cosmetics are not proliferated into the market, right? They've tried.
Yeah.
But I think despite their efforts, we still have the presence of some of these fake products in the market because of some loopholes and lacunas in the system, right? They are not everywhere. They can be everywhere. So there's this weak enforcement, the possibility of reaching out to all the sectors. I think it's safe to say that Nafdac is very obtainable in the urban areas.
Yes.
When we get to the rural areas, we don't really find their presence as much.
Yeah.
So this lack of information or lack of knowledge or the recognizance of the power or the mandate of Nafdac in rural areas is why we still have this
Loopholes.
yes. And then obviously we have some unscrupulous
Elements.
smugglers. Yes, they still find their ways to cheat the system and
Yeah,
smuggle.
come in.
Yeah, so we're looking at having Nafdac have more stricter measures in protecting or preventing this fake products and what you have.
Thank you, Jem. Jem, be honest. When was the last time you bought a product and you checked for Nafdac registration number?
I always
Be
check.
honest.
I always check.
For real?
Yes,
Why?
because I can't remember why or at what point. I was very fascinated with Okonjo-Iweala and what she was doing there.
Yeah.
So just knowing that she was there and all of that, I got interested in that. So I always check. So let me bust your head, right?
Bust it.
There's this time I went to a very reputable pharmacy store to get a drug, and then there was a surge in price. And I was like, why? And then I think it was then where some companies were moving out of Nigeria, and then there was sudden surge in prices of some drugs. So, and he was like, you saw they moved out, so now we have to deal with the consequences of that.
Yeah.
And as usual, I got the drug. I was checking the manufacturing date, expiry date, and Nafdac number. And then he was like, "But there's this other one, no? You don't get Nafdac number. It's cheap where."
Okay.
I'm like,
A substitute.
Why are you advertising to
Something
me
without Nafdac?
Nafdac number? You're like a reputable pharmacy. You shouldn't
do that.
It isn't even this one. How you take no say? So sometimes I feel deterred. I'm like, maybe it doesn't really matter if I check. But then I always try to check the Nafdac. I check for expiry date. I check for manufacturing date, and I check for Nafdac number.
I feel like that's checking for those dates actually is one of the ways to strengthen the whole Nafdac process.
Yes.
So when you refuse to buy a drug because it doesn't have Nafdac number, 10 people a day are refusing to buy drugs without Nafdac numbers. People, these pharmacies, they want to sell their drugs. So they intentionally look for reputable manufacturers to get Nafdac approved approved product. Yeah. So I feel like we can also help in, strengthening this
in
whole
a way.
process.
Sorry.
Yeah.
In a way, we are contributing our quota to the system, right?
Yeah.
We are insisting on a particular quality. We're saying by checking, by continuously checking and insisting on getting drugs with Nafdac number, you're saying to them that this is the quality I want.
I don't want counterfeit.
And I am not taking less.
Yes.
That's it, basically.
Yeah. So this brings me to this. Jem, why do you think it is important? I think we've already answered that, but then for the purpose of the video, why do you think it is important for consumers to check Nafdac number specifically?
Simple, to ensure that you're getting quality and safe to use products. There are so many, like I've mentioned, unscrupulous people out there, and they just out for gains. There's so many persons, yeah, just out for gains. They don't care. Some drugs or some products have not gone through the right process that they ought to have gone through, and they are put into the market. There are so many cases where we've heard FDA, that's like the drug agency for outside the country now, they've recalled some drugs because they discovered it has certain side effects or certain impacts, negative impacts on persons, right? This NAFDAC and all these regulating bodies were put in place to ensure that the drugs, the products, the cosmetics we use, what we consume are of the right quality and they are safe to use. Imagine you're trying to treat yourself and then you end up getting into trouble health-wise because you consume something bad for the system.
Yeah.
There are so many things they look out for. The composition of the drugs. Does it have any effect on any of the organs?
Maybe long-term effects, probably. Yeah.
So we need to be attentive to these things. And I know some people find their cheat codes and go around manufacturing fake Nafdac numbers. And I think Nafdac
is punishable. Like,
yes, Nafdac is doing so much to clamp on all of that by introducing this automatic way of check. We can just, when you get your product, you get the Nafdac number, you send it to a particular code to verify that the Nafdac number is authentic. Yes.
Thank you very much, Jem. So a large percentage of small businesses in Nigeria, they don't have NAFDAC number.
True.
So would you say that getting a NAFDAC registration is accessible to the average Nigerian businesses or just to like major, like big businesses alone?
Like I said earlier, the presence of NAFDAC is felt heavily in urban areas.
Yeah.
But when you get to rural areas where we find these small scale or medium scale businesses, it's not so much. And I would say that it's not so accessible. Yes. First of all, there are a lot of bureaucracy to getting a NAFDAC number, the registration processes,
tedious, I've heard.
Yes.
That is
and
quite
then
tedious.
Most times you have to go through an agent, and then this agent charge exorbitant prices. Do you understand? And I don't think NAFDAC should even encourage using an agent.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to, employ more human workforce.
Yeah.
See that these agents might boycott certain recommendations or certain requirements
because they are being paid large sums of money.
Yes. So there are certain steps, certain laid down requirements that certain businesses need to have before they are, authenticated by NAFDAC. So we need to ensure that all these things are met with, all these things, are there. Not just finding a boycott or somewhere going behind, following a back end.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So basically, to answer your question accurately, no, I don't think that NAFDAC is largely accessible to all, especially small scale or medium scale businesses. It's more accessible to large enterprises or big enterprises.
Okay, you said something about bureaucracy, and I feel like you already started to answer this question, but then I want you to hammer on it. Do you think that, what are some of the challenges you feel that small businesses encounter in their quest to get a NAFDAC registration number for their businesses?
Sometimes, well, I'm tempted to say that sometimes the requirement, apart from the bureaucracy, obviously, the requirements of NAFDAC, it's too high, the standard. But then again,
I think
too about high? This, like, yes, this standard needs to be there.
Yeah.
If you're trying, NAFDAC number is not something you get
easily.
Cheaply, yes.
If not, what would be the point?
They are trying to tell consumers that you see this product or this drug or this consumable is safe for you to use. So they have to ensure at all costs. So if it says go and get the head of a cow before we are. Please
Bring it.
get
It's
it.
worth it.
So I know this can be challenging for small scale,
business.
yes, because it might require. Imagine somebody that is trying to set up a tiger nut business, and then you need to have a lab, a testing space.
You have to come and inspect. When
you
you're
know,
just
and
doing
then
your
you be
kitchen
like,
somewhere in your
how
backyard.
much gain am I getting from tiger nut?
Abeg.
But all of these things needs to be authenticated. They need to be approved. They need to go through the rigorous process of,
Yeah.
you know, ensuring that what you're putting out there is qualitative and is safe for consumption. You get?
Yeah. And I feel like this still ripples back to, you know, we the consumers.
Yeah.
If we make it clear that this is the standard that we want. Imagine a woman, you know, selling tiger nuts, you know, and then 5 customers want to buy and they're like, you don't have Nafdac, I'm not buying. So that would force her, no matter how, you know, expensive that is, she will still go out of her way because she knows that there's no way she can do business without this.
And let me tell you, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be more beneficial to them because Nafdac products or products and consumables with Nafdac number are largely more expensive than the ones without it.
Really, I didn't know. Yes. I didn't know about that.
Imagine I'm selling tiger nuts and
With
I have
Nafdac
number. My price will be high now compared to somebody that is selling without Nafdac. Because I'm telling you that I'm serving you quality. Yes. So pay me.
So Jem, would you say that how much awareness would you say that Nigerians have on the role of Nafdac in Nigeria?
Not so much. If I'm being honest, not so much. Like I said, obviously, again, it boils down to certain areas not being properly informed of Nafdac presence, their recognizance, you know, what they do and how they can be accessible. Some persons don't know that Nafdac have a portal that you can go on and complain that, oh, I just got a fake product from so place, you know, like report place, like a place you can report unscrupulous businesses. You get? And some persons don't even know the processes they need to go through to obtain a Nafdac number.
Very true.
So maybe Nafdac needs to create more awareness, have like a town hall meetings in rural areas. They need to like have targeted information
campaigns.
Yes.
Leverage the mainstream and social media.
Exactly. You get.
Okay. So Jem, could you tell us some of the challenges that you feel Nafdac encounter in, you know, enforcing their roles to businesses?
Apart from having people who find their way around the system, the Nafdac system and structures, you know, we have certain very not so smart persons that find their way or back way around the laid down structures and cheat codes. You have fake dump. These are the things that impede the power, the mandate of Nafdac, right? And then funds. Like I feel like
that's the problem of every organization, every agency.
They need to start looking at having presence, like, you know, impactful presence in rural areas. Having structures, having workforce that, you know, could go around, have structured get how do you say, community engagement with people. Like we're creating awareness, we're creating campaigns, you know, have like a targeted adverts to draw these people. We've established, right, that the urban areas are doing okay, but the rural is not so well. So I think they need to like move. So once they're able to capture this area, I think a lot of their problems and challenges will be resolved.
So thank you for that, Jem. So another thing is Nafdac, you know, when people hear Nafdac, they feel like it's focused on consumers getting, you know, good products per se. But in as much as that is true, I don't feel like it should be just about the consumers. When Nafdac are, you know, creating awareness campaigns and all of those things, they should tell, you know, traders that this is what you stand to gain from having your Nafdac number, from having your businesses registered with Nafdac. So it's not just about the consumer, it's about you too. It's an inclusive thing.
Yes.
I feel like that would, you know, spike that the ability, or is it ability? I don't think
desire to.
Yes, the desire to want to do that.
Exactly.
So lastly, rounding up, what practical steps would you suggest that Nafdac adopt in making their processes and their organization more effective and people friendly?
I think we've talked about it, largely information is power. Information is key. So let them try as much as possible to put as much information
Out there.
as possible out there. Try to organize campaigns in different languages that will attract different,
Get to the grassroots.
yes, different type of audience, go anywhere possible. Most persons don't even know about this application I was talking about earlier, where you can just this code that you can send
to verify.
and they can also actually think about creating an application where scan a product,
and then you don't have to even do too much. You already know if this is authentic,
yes or not.
So, and I feel like they can also liaise with government-owned media outfits to air adverts and all of those things.
Like orient the people. Yes, create orientation on people. This is what you need to look out for. This is what you need to. This is what should.
This is
register
why you even need to check for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that has been it on this episode of Service Hour, where we dealt with Nafdac, why Nafdac is important in our society, and if they're really doing their jobs. I know that if you've stuck around till the end, you already figured what we know. Yeah. The secrets we know about this whole Nafdac thing. You want to quickly rush and register your businesses. Meanwhile, if you have any grievances against the organization, we are the Public Complaints Commission. We deal with issues like that without paying a dime.
Exactly.
We are also available, yes, in all of the 36 states of the Federation, ready to take your complaints. My name again is Mati Fati. I've been delighted doing this with you, and this is
Jam.
Together we say
bye.